It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's more women of the New Testament. You knew there had to be a sequel. I'm Michael, the Bible ReThinker, and it's time to rethink. Please be sure to subscribe and like this video and share your comments. Which superwoman do you find the most compelling that we look at today? Share your comments below, and please visit thebiblerethinker.org, where you can support this channel and find exclusive content. Well, our first Wonder Woman was a woman who lived to a very old age. And she spent lots of her time at the temple. She spent time praying and fasting and praising the Lord. And she was just looking forward to when God sent his Messiah. And so when Mary and Joseph arrived with Jesus at the temple 40 days after he was born, she greatly rejoiced, and she went about telling others throughout the temple that Jesus was the promised one to come. She was a prophetess, and she proclaimed good news. She preached to all the men and the women at the temple. Who was this woman? What was her secret identity? Well, for that, we'll have to look into the confidential super stuff file. Her name was Anna. Our next superwoman was kind of part of a team with a man who was her husband. But the most prominent member of this team was the superwoman. Whenever the two are named in the Bible, she is always named first, probably because she was the most prominent between the two of them. She was involved in training preachers and evangelists, helping them to enrich their content. She discipled leaders to become better leaders. She discipled preachers to become better preachers, discipled evangelists to become better evangelists. Paul said that she risked her own life for him. She even worked together with him because she was involved in tent making, just as Paul was and as her husband was as well. Some even argue that she wrote one of the epistles. They argue that she wrote Hebrews, and the reason that Hebrews is anonymous is because it was written by this really remarkable woman, although the idea is highly speculative. So who is this remarkable woman who made such a big difference in the early days of the church? Well, for that, we will have to consult our confidential super stuff file to find her name. Do you know what it is? Her name was Priscilla. Our next woman was very important in early church leadership. She was called a deacon, and she was so at the church of Cenchreae. This woman was there when Paul wrote his letter to the Romans. She was probably even a contributor to discussions that Paul would have had with others about what exactly to include in the letter and how to word it. She was there, and she would have contributed to what was written. She was the courier of that very first copy of the letter to the churches in Rome. And as such, she would have been the person who read it first to the churches at Rome. So the letter of this part of the scriptures was first read by this remarkable woman. And since that was her role, since she was part of the discussion of writing the letter, since she was the courier and she read it, she's the one that the people would have asked questions about concerning this letter to the Romans. So the first preacher of the epistle of Romans, the first commentary to the epistle to the Romans, was a woman, this remarkable superwoman. Do you know her name? We'll consult the confidential super stuff file. Her name was Phoebe. Finally, we have a remarkable superwoman that I wish we knew far more about. But we know minimally that she was an outstanding apostle, according to Paul. That means she would have played a very important and prominent place in early church leadership. There would have been pastors, elders, deacons, overseers that were under her supervision. So she was a woman who had a very lofty position in the very early church. Do you know her name? We'll have to consult the confidential super stuff folder. Her name was Junia. There are so many incredible superwomen of the Bible. Maybe next we should have a special where all the superwomen team up. That would be a new idea.